Hello Tarot Rebels and welcome to today's video. My name is Michaela from Tarot Rebel and I'm super happy to see you all joining us. As I said, this is the Spooktober Fest series. It's October season, it's Halloween season, so here I am thinking that we can make things more fun and maybe bring a bit of creepy into the mix if that's possible. So this is basically the basis of Spooktoberfest 2021, and the rules are very simple. I'll just go through my deck collection and see what spooky decks I have to use. And this week we have the sad, sweet, random, spooky, creepy decks to go through. So, by the way, if this needs to be said, my definition of creepy might not be your definition of creepy, or might not be the accepted version of creepy. But that doesn't mean it's not correct. That doesn't mean your version is not the right one. It just means we associate spookiness and creepiness and macabre to different pieces of art, because at the end of the day tarot is another piece of art. So just to get this out of the way, my opinion is mine alone and you are entitled to yours as well. So as I said, this week we have some sweet and creepy tarot decks to go through. And without further ado, let's go through the decks. First off, we have the Hush Tarot. This is a US Games deck, edition 2020. This is by Jeremy Hush. And as you can see, contrary to the popular opinion, this is very nice, smooth, soft, kind of to the touch two-part box with finger cutouts. It's a pretty sturdy one, solid box, I would say. Quite unusual for a mass market deck, because I think I got it last year and paid £16 or something like that. Anyway, it was really cheap. So this box houses the booklet, which looks like this. This is a standard RWS deck, so there's not much to say about this, but I will have to say this is a deck. These are the backs, they are completely reversible, as you can see. Sorry if you hear some noise. That's my stomach. I'm a bit hungry. Few decks convey poetry in such a lush, such a distinct, lush way, I will say, like this Hush Tarot does, with very precise lines. As you can see, the details in the drawings are very, very, very detailed. The colors are very autumnal in inspiration. I think this deck can find a home in the hearts of lovers of the, I don't know, Victorian design, lovers of the decaying beauty. As you can see here in the Strength card, it looks like a mannequin doll that's decaying with all the feathers and the birds that rise from it. There are some very creepy bats as well. So I don't know, it feels perfect for the lovers of sadness, but also for the lovers of macabre. Like, there are some silhouettes with random faces on it. I think this is one, and if I'm not mistaken, yeah, the devil card as well. So it's quite an interesting concept, this deck. The theme seems to be growth out of pain. See, at the star card it says, a hunting we will go, right? So I do love the sun and the moon cards because they are such a perfect pairing. If you look at the cards, they are probably my favorite pair of sun moon cards. So it kind of feels like you're looking at evolution beyond destruction. Look at this world card. She seems to be glowing in between those pillars, but if you take a closer look, you can see the decay, you can see the destruction of the image. Sorry, I'm trying to keep everything in the frame. It feels like this is so much more about restarting beyond that. Look at this Ace of Cups, for example, right? Like some of the images are painfully beautiful in a very, this Four of Cups, it's I don't know if you are a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One of the characters, she's afraid of bunnies, and whenever I see this card, I keep remembering her. So it's quite an interesting thing to think about. There are lots of animals. This is one of the most evocative Seven of Cups. If you look at it, you see the person riding this decaying horse, but it's, if you look at it, it's just half a horse, and then you have the snake trying to reach out, and then the birds. There are a lot of things happening in this image, so it's up to you as a reader to interpret this. This Nine of Cups is absolutely gorgeous. So lots of small animals, lots of masks, broken memorabilia. Everything is sprinkled throughout the deck. Like, I don't know, like some sort of a twisted treasure hunt for the reader, if that makes sense. Like, look at this Ace of Wands. That's one thing I don't like about this deck. The Wands and the Swords, they look kind of similar. See, for example, you have to take a second look to distinguish between the two of them. So that's one problem I have with it. But apart from that, I think it's great. All the cards are beautifully illustrated and do follow the RWS system, as I said. And honestly, for a mass market deck, this does feel quite sturdy, quite luxe in comparison to similarly priced decks, if you ask. It does feel more expensive than it actually is. The guidebook was written by Jeremy Hush, and it doesn't steer away. Oh, this is one of my favorite cups, the Three of Swords. Look at the. It's not about pain. It's about total destruction and annihilation. If you want, it's such a heavy burden to look at the card and actually have it weigh on your mind. For me, at least, it's a very, very interesting connection I have with this specific card. So you can read the cards without necessarily having to read the book. Like, look at this Six of Cups, for example. Obviously, the majors are a bit more detailed in the book, so they do benefit from more attention, while the minors are not as expanded, if you like. But because it does follow the traditional meaning of the tarot, of the RWS system, you don't feel like you're missing out on too much. So for a deck that never sets out to be dramatic in any way, or macabre, or romantic, or goth, or fairy tale like, or I don't know, Victorian, or you name it, I think this deck manages to encapsulate the paradox of sweet, sad, and creepy at the same time. Like, look at this page. This is one of my favorite pages, right? I think it manages to encapsulate that perfect paradox, almost to with almost perfect precision, I would say. This is one of my favorite decks. I like to use it mostly during the autumn because of the color palette, but I think I've used it during the summer as well when I needed that impulse to do more shadow work, that impulse to be more honest, that impulse to be more direct. So I think it's perfect to use with that question in mind, if that's what you need. Some people might be a bit put off by some of the imagery, because it's not necessarily the nicest thing to look at. This devil card is, although one of my favorite cards, I think not many people want to see kittens with a mask on, right? But the deck itself, I think it's gorgeous. It's so lush, it's perfect, easy to shuffle, the size is great. It's a bit wider than regular tarot's standard size, but that doesn't mean it's difficult to shuffle. So yeah, this is the Hush Tarot, published by US Games, and the creator is Jeremy Hush. If we're talking fairy lights and fairy tale like qualities, then what's better deck to talk about this than the Fairy Lights Tarot? So this was created by Lucia Mattioli. This is the artist's name. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck, sorry for that. And I think it was published in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. So this is a deck, a duck box deck, not the greatest quality. It does come with 2 title cards and this guidebook, if you like. In theory, this is a very simple deck, right? It does have this very annoying gray border, which I think it's kind of distracting considering the color palette. Like, it's all greens and oranges and blues, but very you'll see what I mean. It's very to the warmer tone of the colors in the cards, they do have a warmer tone, and the gray is kind of distracting to me. This is the backs. The back is not completely reversible. If you take a peek, like you have 2 birds and 2 fairies on the birds. One of them looks pregnant, the other one is not. So this is what I mean with the deck not being completely reversible. If you want to read reversals, it's not a major thing. It's not something that's distracting in any way. It's just a thing that this deck does. So the story behind it, I will just shuffle through the cards. This is also in order because I've used it for another video. So Lucia Mattioli created this deck with 39 paintings in mind, and then the 78 tarot cards, they do belong in one, how should I put this? Each of the 70 tarot cards does belong to half of one of those paintings. So it's 39 paintings split by 2, you get 78 cards in total, and if you reunite them, you get to see the whole image, right? Obviously, with the gray borders and everything, probably even if you trim the deck by just on the sides, you would still be able to see the full image. Probably it would be better if Lo Scarabeo would reprint this with that in mind, but I don't think this cannot be used regardless of this situation. It would be easier to find the pairs, but because it does follow the RWS system, the deck can be used with this twist in mind and without this twist in mind. This is a gorgeous judgment card. Look at this world in an egg being born. This is amazing. I don't know it is with this deck, because I feel so very drawn to it. Like, look at this Three of Wands. I feel so very drawn to it. And I honestly cannot put my finger on it, because it has a certain quality that it does make it beautifully sad in a very twisted way. Like, look at this ten of Wands. This is a mother with her child, and it doesn't feel too sad, it doesn't feel too burdened, but it's such an interesting energy that I get from this deck. And it's such an old trusted deck in a way. I know it's been on the market for quite a long time now, but I've only recently purchased it, so I'm still working to understand it, and I'm not sure if I should venture actually reading with it. It does feel, probably because it does have the word fairy lights in it, it does feel quite enlightening, but at the same time, like this Nine of Cups, instead of making me feel accomplished and fulfilled, it makes me feel sad for some reason. It feels like it gives me that empty nest feeling, if that makes sense to you. I don't know. It's a different energy that it evokes, and I think I feel like everything happens in this dream world so far away, and it's only up to you as a reader to connect to this world. It's up to you how you interpret it. And because of this freedom that's allowed to you to coexist and connect with this deck outside of a normal system. I mean, normal is such a relative term at the end of the day, but because it allows you as a reader to connect with it. Like, this is one of the most stunning Nine of Swords I've ever seen. It's a battleground. Imagine being hit by anxiety, being hit by depression, being hit by overthinking, and can you honestly tell me that this is not how you feel when you're in that headspace, in that emotion, when everything is overwhelming and you cannot find a way out? There's no escape route for you. Honestly, this is how I feel. Probably this is how I connect with this deck, because it brings so much weight to my emotions, and it manages to anchor me within those emotions. And one thing I noticed, sorry if I didn't touch that, the minors have the element at the bottom and the number here. And then for the pages, I'm not even sure what this is. It's like a tiny helmet with the element at the bottom. Then the knights have the horse, the queen. This is a gorgeous Queen of Swords. The queen has a crown, and the king has a different crown, right? I don't know, going through this deck every time I touch it, every time I try to connect with it, I mean, I don't even have to try, because I feel like it sits in such a special place. Like, look at this Three of Pentacles. It feels like such a sacred journey, like a sacred secret journey, I want to say, handling this deck, playing with it, connecting with it, like finding the meaning behind the painting. This is why sometimes I wish I had the talent to trim the deck and to be able to put the pairs together. So it feels like such a great way to connect to your sources, to your guides. This is a gorgeous Ten of Pentacles. I just, there's nothing better to wish for. This is an amazing page. This is a great Knight of Pentacles. I don't know, it's something about this deck. Standard size, looks cheap. It is cheap. I honestly bought it secondhand because I saw it on eBay, and because I refused to buy from Amazon. So I'm super happy I got this. I think this is an amazing addition to my collection. It feels raw in a way, but it also feels protective of your emotions, of your feelings as a reader and as a querent as well. I don't know, it just has something that's I'm not even sure I can describe it past beyond that sacred secret journey that it evokes. At least that's how it speaks to me. I do love this deck. I do wish for a trimmed copy. I'm not skilled enough to do it. Maybe someone can do it for me because I'm clearly not good at anything that involves precision work. But even so, I think this is a marvelous deck, marvelous idea, amazing execution, bar from the sides, from the borders. There's a list. I think it's on. Let me double check. I think it's on Eclectic. No, it's on Tarot Forum, and it does include all the pairings in this deck because they're not necessarily one by one. It goes through something like the Fool and the Ten of Pentacles, the Magician and the Three of Wands. Okay, let's the Fool, and I'll go look for the Ten of Pentacles. Should be here. 7, 8, 9, 10. So imagine that this is not the border. In the old traditional way, the Fool, the new beginning, living behind his home, right? His or her home. The stability, the structure, the happiness, the love, the nurture that you feel home, and how you disconnect from it when you start something new. I think this is a very interesting way of connecting back to your story, and I think it's very well done in this deck. I'm gonna look for another one. Let's go look for the Hierophant. Okay, this is the Hierophant, and that Ten of Wands, for example. Where's the Ten of Wands? This is the Ten of Wands. Is this it? Or see, this is where not having the borders would have helped. But to me, I think this is how the pairing should be. I'm not sure. Let me know how you think, but I think this is how it should be. It feels like the mother, the struggling mother with her child, has come to this trusted advisor, this elder of hers to ask for advice, to ask for guidance, and he's here to support her in her journey. And I think it does make sense in this context. I think it has so much more to give to you as a reader. Obviously, it's kind of difficult to learn the pairings by heart. Not impossible, obviously. You have to dedicate some time to studying this deck. This is why I'm studying at the moment. But I think it brings so much more to the table than the usual spewing of the RWS references, right? Okay, so this is the Fairy Lights Tarot, and I would love to see what you think of this marvelous little deck. And last but not least, probably my favorite deck to use this time of the year, it's the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. The artist of this deck is Cristina Benintende. Hope I'm saying it right. And this is another Los Carabeo deck. Obviously the tuck box thing, very flimsy. Put it to the side. We have the book, some title cards, And these are the backs. They are reversible, as you can see, standard tarot size with beautiful indigo borders which bleed into the back image. As you can see, the artwork is quite reminiscent of Tim Burton. I mean, I agree and I don't agree with this point, because I see it and I don't see it. Also, the backs have a certain granularity to them. It feels a bit rough. Well, the front is a bit more smoother. So if that's, I was kind of put off in the beginning by this thing, but now I'm kind of used to it, so it doesn't really bother me anymore. Anyway, I'll just go through the cards. People do say it does have a certain Tim Burton quality to it. I see it in some images like this one, and in others this emperor kind of looks like Johnny Depp, so I will give it that. But it's not present in all the cards. It does feel quite distinguished. No, quite distinct. That's the word I'm looking for. And it does have that exaggerated feeling to it, but it also does feel like it's speaking a completely different language, this deck. It has a very, probably, it's funny because I have a friend who looks exactly like this hermit person, and they're also a Virgo, which is connected to the hermit card, so that's funny. It's a very surreal, very colorful, bold, vibrant deck. And look at this Hangman. Such a different perspective, and I think this is why I like this deck so much, because every time you see it, it does offer a different perspective. This was published in 2009, and it does feel more recent than that. It has such a sad, sweet, disappointed look, and I want to say sweet disposition for those of you who know the song. It's by Temper Trap, from 500 Days of Summer. It does have this caricatural look to it. The images do depict otherworldly scenes and people. Everything seems exaggerated, and to the point of fantastical, right? The majors do follow the RWS system. Some of them apparently do stray away from it. It's not something I'm particularly bothered by it. Sorry, some of the minors do stray away from it. I will go to, I think, the Seven of Cups. Let me see if I can find it. Apparently this was done by design and not by accident, because the intention behind this deck is to be read intuitively. So look at the Seven of Cups. What do we know about the Seven of Cups? This is a card of options, of having multiple options, having multiple cups you can fill, right? When I see this is the choice paralysis card for me. And usually in some decks I see it as don't be tricked into thinking that you have more options than you actually do. But in this deck, it's kind of spelled out for real for me. Thinking that you have so many options and weighing them in and taking the time to take them into consideration can be draining on your resources, on your time, and you may be stuck in this choice paralysis forever and ever until you're unaliving. right? So it's kind of interesting. But at the same time, if this deck was meant to be read intuitively, why go to Lo Scarabeo and have the numbering and the name of the suit in the four corners? If it's meant to be read intuitively, some readers might just go ahead, oh, this is the Nine of Cups, because otherwise it would have taken me some time to see that there are some cups here. Yes, there are 9 of them. Oh wow, look at that. And there's the swan, the water, this character here. It kind of it takes away at that option to read the deck intuitively, unless of course you decide to trim the deck and remove the borders altogether. So I don't know, I think for some this deck can be read just as is, just applying your RWS interpretation to it. For others, if you decide to give it some time, it can unlock some unknown thoughts, impressions, feelings. Like, look at this Six of Swords. Why is this person blindfolded? Why does this person have wings? Why is this person a skeleton? Why does it have a duck on their head? What's happening? Where's the sixth sword? Oh, it's with the skeleton. So it's kind of like that. Like, if you allow yourself to get immersed into the scene of this card, for example. So this is the Seven of Swords. Have 2 swords here. Where are the rest of the swords? There's another sword here, another sword there. There are a couple more here, but they're painted with a different color and kind of a different shape. So it's up to you to see what you want to interpret the swords. Or you can read the title and the number, and there you go. You have the Seven of Swords, right? I think if you follow the intention of the author and read it intuitively, I think you can allow your intuition to reside outside of your norm, outside of your tradition, and you can find a different path for you. So this is something I really appreciate about this deck. I think it's comfortable enough not to scare away any novices. The art is amazing, it's gorgeous, but intriguing enough to challenge the experts in a way. I think this deck can actually fulfill the space between scary and nice, and I think it does reside in that space of spooky and sweet, between creepy and childish. Like, look at the Six of Pentacles. It's the perfect embodiment of creepy and childish at the same time, with all the exaggerated features, the vibrant colors, the hidden gems in every card. Like, why is this Catwoman carrying a bag around her neck? A bag of pentacles? What's happening? Why is this highway? Why are these skyscrapers? It's up to you, as I said, because it's up to you how you want to interpret this. It's a deck that allows you to exist outside of the norm, but also offers you enough consistency to be pulled in this world. So it kind of builds on familiarity and lures you then with this modern twist of the deck. I think it's done in such a subtle, interesting way, because I don't think you actually realize while you go through the deck. It doesn't have any gimmicks. It's not part of a 39 series, a series of 39 paintings, which then are split in 2. It's just a tarot deck with incredible art, amazing colors, amazing line work. It's just mesmerizing, and you can use the sole to read for yourself or for others as well. I think it's high quality for a mass market deck. Lo Scarabeo doesn't disappoint this time either. I think their decks are pretty easy to shuffle and pretty easy to enjoy. So this one doesn't fail at this. The star card, look at this. Is it a flower? What's happening? What's with this growth? Sorry, was that this star? Okay, some of my cards were not reversed, misplaced. Anyway, this is the Tarot of Sweet Twilight. If you don't have it, I suggest you get it, because even just for the art itself, partly this was the reason I got it in the beginning, but now I just enjoy trying to see beyond the image. So yeah, so I do hope you enjoyed my ramble. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you have any of the decks, if you like any of the decks, if you want to purchase any of the decks, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. In the meantime, if you can show support by liking, sharing this video, leaving a comment, subscribing to my channel, all of them, if that's what you want, that would be really much appreciated. I would really like that support from you. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining. I am Michaela from Tarot Rebel, and I do hope to see you soon. Bye.